Illegals should not be allowed at the border. And also thank Obama for legalizing propaganda.
That rage they have against the orange man. They're like, I don't care. Tax me 80%. As long as he's not in there. People are just so okay, though, as long as the guy that they didn't vote for looks bad. Like, I really can't stand y'all sometimes.
Rosa Parks was one of those people that was kind of a big image for, like, the race wars. Same with Martin Luther King. It's never been a race issue, okay? It's a patriarchy issue. Because it was actually never created by white men either. So what does that say? The men are always the problem? But OF and corn are like the worst thing that women can do. I wasn't at the strip club working to feel empowered. I was there for money. If content creation does not work out, I will be looking for another rich man. I didn't want to settle for that weird shit, but if I have to, if I absolutely have to, I'm like, this is all or nothing right now. This is plan A and that shit's plan B. Because I'll be damned.
They not like us. No. They not like us. No. They not.
I am getting bored with people wanting inclusivity every single where. Like, stop. Stop. There's some things that don't need to be included. No, my darling. You're looking for inclusivity where it does not exist. It does not exist. But anyways, where did it all begin? Let's start from the beginning. And I hope I saved enough videos so that we can see where this whole thing started. Right, so let's just dive into the video and see how I Am the Flawed Villain started.
With all this noise going on around the Flawed Villain, I'm going to say something I haven't seen anyone say, and you just got to follow me. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. See, these people do a really good job of separating folks and shifting the blame on people that have no control over it. It is no secret on whose content will get pushed and whose will get suppressed. There is no secret. This has been set in times way before the Wave came along. It comes across in so many different other forms. It is not their fault. I'm going to give an analogy because anytime that I talk about colorism, this is something that I would love for my community to understand. We spend so much time blaming light-skinned people for their privilege that we never get to blame the people that gave it to them. Right? Even if we take it back, people always say, oh, well, there was house and there was field. Do you think they asked to be in the house? They did not. They did not choose that. And as much as I am I'm a realist. These white creators are not choosing to get their content pushed. That just is what it is. That is the way of the app. That is the way of the algorithm. But they do not choose it. So we get nothing by sitting up and bullying these creators and blaming them and saying, oh, well, it's just because you're this or just because you're that. It doesn't change any fucking thing. If you love a content creator the way that I love Cecilia Regina, the YV Edit, Shira7, so many other creators that I follow, I go to their page. I go to their page when I'm driving and I let the shit play. I do not wait for them to pop up on my FYP because I already know. And if you want our creators to stay on here and to keep pushing for us, then you need to be on their pages engaging with their content. You need to have your notifications on. But you cannot blame people that have no control over this app and what gets pushed for their content being pushed. Okay? Just like when you guys get mad at these actors that take roles that weren't for them, blame the producer. Blame the director. Blame the person that casted them. Because you cannot be mad at someone for taking a job, right? Because they're still fighting their own, they're fighting their own fight that you have not even acknowledged because you're so busy trying to put the blame on them for being nothing more than a tool that is used in division. And one thing I also have not seen anyone talk about, when we have a app full of creators, and I think it's a beautiful thing because I follow so many different types of creators. I have creators from all different races, ages, demographics, and cities, and we are saying the same thing about men. That lets me know that there's a universal truth here. That lets me know that it's not just my people, right? So don't try to suppress these creators. You know, if you have a really big issue with it, we need to figure out a way that we take this up with the app, because it's the people in control of the algorithm. It's not the content creator.
I mean, I also saw a black lady was like, follow Flawed Villain, wada. I'm not that quick to support anything interracial, whether it's relationship-wise or whatever. I don't really care for interracial things. It doesn't matter how beautiful it is. I feel like the more I see it, the more I want it. So I don't want that in my face. I need people that look like me in my space and probably do what she says. But either way, I'm still gonna put the story and all of that because someone compiled it, her videos. Oh my god, people. And there was this back and forth between her and like it's just wild west. So I was like, let me keep quiet for now and just put the video so that you guys can watch.
About, right? You had every opportunity to explain yourself with what they want to hear. I don't know why they think we're supposed to go on 4 and 5 hours trying to get you to explain to them what you said about Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, even though you didn't address it twice. You didn't address it twice.
Yeah, and they didn't listen either.
You didn't address that twice. We done talked about Trump. I done gave you every opportunity to say what you're going to say about Trump. Let the conversation flow the way it's going to flow. Just let the conversation flow how it's going to flow. Because here's the thing. The one thing that y'all can't understand about me is I accept people for who they show me they are. I'm not here to try to beat people. That's not it. I don't have no preconceived notions. All I'm trying to hear is what you got to say. And then you're going to go from there. What is my opinion? What is my opinion on it? I got 2 opinions based on what Flawed Villain done told me. Number 1, the first opinion is that whole COINTELPRO propaganda, puppets, that whole thing was taken out of context. That whole thing was taken out of context. But with the Trump thing, I think that she honestly cannot explain why she chose Trump. And I do believe that there is an underlying alliance with him, regardless. My opinion can't be changed on that, but that's neither here nor there. I was not convinced otherwise. But it is what it is. Yeah. So we're not talking about it no more.
Yeah.
We're not
if I came on here and said I didn't vote for him, they would tell me I'm a liar, and I explain myself, and they'll still not listen. So,
because I'm not a follower. I don't follow content creators. I'm not the type of person.
So Flawed Villain just admitted on live that she voted for Trump in the 2024 elections. And I mean, I'm not really surprised, but what I am interested in is this pink pill to alt-right pipeline that seems to be getting very popular. It's just really interesting that there's this trend of people who claim to be anti-patriarchal using patriarchal strategies and tactics against other women. And in Flawed Villain's case, she used her vote as a way to further the patriarchy, because we all see what the Trump administration is doing, and they are hurting women. So if you have any good literature on this pink pill to alt-right pipeline, please let me know. I would love to dig deeper into it, read more, and learn more.
Illegals should not be allowed at the border. Rosa Parks was one of those people that was kind of a big image for like the race wars. Same with Martin Luther King. If content creation does not work out, I will be looking for another rich man. This is plan A and that shit's plan B.
Yes, you heard that correctly, and it's just a sample. Check out the video tagged below for the full Monty. I'm sure this is not who people thought they were getting, but ever since Flawed Villain has been exposed as disseminating this kind of anti-historical, racist, inflammatory rhetoric, she has consistently doubled and tripled down. Last night, this viewer, Nicole, asked if I was mad at her, and she responded, "All these monkeys are." I blew up the screenshot so you can see it better. For those who don't know, monkeys is a racial slur for Black people going back a few hundred years. And then one of her commenters said, Black women and women of color who are horrified at these things she's been saying are just jealous of her whiteness, and she agreed. When this thing first started, I was confused as to why TikTok would promote the videos of any woman talking about decentering men. While the app is always extra hard on my group, they suppress any woman whose content really challenges the status quo. Mel Hamlet, for example, has had many of the same issues. People being unfollowed from her account, never reaching the FYP, her videos being taken down. And anytime she says anything even mildly inflammatory, like how men use their hobbies to escape from their families, she gets dinged by this app. But they allow literal hate speech on someone else's page. And they're not just allowing it, they push this person's content forward all the time. And I have to point out that this is all recent comment and these statements are from last night. So it's not like, oh, she changed. So what benefit is the app gaining from doing this? There has to be a reason. This feels like a Trojan horse. Look at what happened on the men's side recently. With the arrest and subsequent trial of Andrew Tate, he and many of the men who do that kind of content, I can't name it here, but you know what I mean, they've fallen. It's a domino effect. Once the leader became associated in the public consciousness with misinformation and unsavory stuff, men of that ilk with the same talking points were pushed off of nearly every legitimate platform. That movement as a whole is now rightfully labeled a hate group by the FBI, and most men who talk like that couldn't buy access to the public right now. But we need to make an important distinction. It wasn't because they became more dangerous or they changed what they were saying. They've been saying the same stuff all the time. Nothing changed in that world except public perception. I mean, it didn't happen back in 2014 when Elliot Rodgers wrote his manifesto and, made his attack and credited that kind of rhetoric with, what he did. These platforms didn't push these men off right after the Plymouth attack or the Bondi Mall attack, where those men said in manifestos or out loud they were acting because of that same rhetoric. These platforms waited until Tate and his ilk embarrassed themselves publicly. They gave them enough rope with their words to hang themselves. And then they said, if that's what the leaders are saying, throw the whole thing in the trash. There are many women doing the work of decentering men on this app and doing it well. So why would this app push one who says obvious misinformation, who is anti-historical, who calls people slurs? She has doubled down on these points repeatedly. They're still up on her page, these videos, so you can see for yourself. But by TikTok pushing someone who says things like this to the forefront, as the visual focus of the movement of decentering men, you now associate everyone with what's being said. And it becomes that much easier to delegitimize the movement all at once. People only hear from one person. It's being pushed to everyone's consciousness. They become associated with the rhetoric that they have spewed out that is hateful, anti-historical, and just wild. And people think this movement must be a big crock too. I'm not going to follow this. Then all the platforms can now yank support, yank the term, suppress any of the terms we use. Learn from history. If you use a certain word that starts with IN that's been used to refer to that male movement, the post will be taken down, even if you're talking about a news article. I know because this has happened not only to me, but women across this app. You cannot tag that term or the one about a certain color pill. This is serious life-saving work. People should not allow it to be compromised by someone who is doing it, they said, out of their mouth for money. Our country is a great example of what happens to you in the eyes of the world when you allow yourself to be misrepresented. Before I found any of this out, I was transitioning out of TikTok. I was more than willing to cede the space. My only complaint had been about how the app was treating me. Before this present moment, I never named her in any video I did because my complaint was about the app. But finding this out, I was beyond horrified. The idea that people had been imposed upon, that they didn't know what they had gotten themselves into, and the consequences that could reap for women as a whole, I had to say something. Because what's something men say all the time about decentering men content or 4B or anything like that? Oh, it's just you know what pill for women. You're just Tate for women. They already use those words on us. If they have something to hang their hat on, if they can take down a person who's a visual focus and say, all the women are like that, they're all spreading misinformation, lies, anti-historical stuff, slurs. This space will be gone as a whole so fast it'll make your head spin. So please, please, please do not suffer that to happen. That's it. Repost to spread the word and like and follow for more.